Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and today I'm going to give you a couple of interview tips for hiring your perfect employee or your perfect team. This is for your cafe or for your roastery or for your podcast, for anything in coffee. So we're going to go through just a few of the tips of the kinds of things that we would advise clients when they are hiring their team in the coffee industry in our consulting services. And speaking of our consulting services, if you are looking to get some help to grow your business or to have a better foundation in the way that your business is set up for coffee in 2022, consider our consulting services at Mapper Forward. You can head to the show notes and click on some links to find out more details today. So, some tips for hiring and interviewing new staff, potential new staff. My first tip is know what you want and know what you don't want in employees. It's really important to know whether you want people who have big egos and can, really want all the attention, or whether that's something that doesn't fit the culture of your business. The reason this is important is because if you can state it up front, you're not going to attract people who are the opposite of what you want. You can state it very clearly. So know exactly what you want and what you don't want. And then my next tip, once you know what you want and you know what you don't want, state it. Clarity is very important. When you're hiring, don't cast a wide net out there that says something like what I usually see. We're hiring for a barista, minimum 2 years experience in specialty coffee, can do high volume. What that tells me is that you'll take anything as long as they can demonstrate that they've done this for a couple of years. What I would rather see is something that said, we're looking for a barista who's had a minimum of 2 years experience, who lives within our local area, is hardworking, knows what they're passionate about, and understands what career trajectory they would like to go on as a barista. We want to speak to somebody we want to interview people who have attention to detail, enjoy consistency or providing consistency in coffee, and have good knowledge of the coffee supply chain. Now, what you're doing when you say something like that in an interview or in an advertisement is that you're signaling to specific people that you're an employer who knows what you want. And a coffee professional will see that and receive that signal and say, this is an employer who knows what they're talking about. So you are more likely to attract the kind of staff that you're looking for if you want a professional barista. Equally, the same kind of thing if you're hiring for a producer for a coffee podcast. Saying to somebody, we're looking for a producer for a podcast in the coffee industry is one thing. But do you just want a producer, or do you want somebody who has contacts in the coffee supply chain? Do they know people in the industry? Do they have sound engineer experience? Do they know the terms in specialty coffee? Like, all of these things are really important. And that takes me to my next tip. When you are hiring, please make sure that you don't just hire people who you know. And don't look into the pools of people just where you know. And the reason is because you end up being able to draw from a wider pool if you're not just contacting your network and saying, hey, do you know anyone who's looking? What you need to be able to do is attract different talent into your business by advertising on social media and boosting those posts and perhaps reaching into other networks. So, for example, if you are looking for somebody who's passionate about coffee but doesn't have any experience, and that person needs to have a thirst for a new career change, etc., etc., what I would recommend is going and looking at home coffee enthusiast forums and see how many of those people are looking to pivot careers. Just go talk in those forums. Don't look in the same place where everybody else looks. And my final tip would be put a little Easter egg in there that's at the end of the ad to make sure that people have read the whole ad. Sara Al-Ale did this recently in her advertisements for hiring her whole team, and she had a different little Easter egg at the end of each ad. And so it said, in your application, please include a cover letter plus your resume, and in the subject, write the word Ferrari. Now, what this means is that it tells you that they have read all the instructions. They know exactly what you're looking for. They didn't just get a text from someone saying, hey, listen, X, Y, and Z cafe is looking for a barista. Send them your resume. That's not what you want. If you've gone through the effort of writing out a job description or an advertisement that is lengthy and has clarity, this is exactly what you need. So I hope these tips help. And the reason I hope these tips help is because the market out there is savagely competitive for staff right now. And I hope that these kinds of tips help you find the right team. We're starting to see a lot of people that are staying in jobs for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then skipping to the next employer. You want to find ways to filter those people out and attract the right staff and build those relationships that are meaningful, and go through a number of interview rounds. So let's say you get 20 applications for a job. Pick the people who you think, if you want to do the first round for all of them. The way that I approach interviewing with clients and helping them set things up, the first round is you want to weed out all the people who are just idiots. They're just not going to be a good fit for you. They're there to just waste your time. The first round, do it through Zoom, weed out the people who are just nonsensical. Second round, you want to make sure that their skill sets and their personality are going to be a fit for your business. Do that round through Zoom as well. And then the final round, invite the final applicants, which should be a fraction of what the original group was. Invite them into their place of work and have a chat with them. And your job there is just to really weed out not only who has the personality and who has the skills, but who is a right fit for the culture and for the business, and how can they demonstrate that they can do what they say that they can do. If we can help with this process, head to the show notes, check out where you can get in contact with us, and we will happily be of service to you. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.